NAACP, and I'm assuming that Africatown is going to go on what you feel is best for this particular neighborhood. So I'm glad y'all could come out tonight. I know everybody's busy, been working all day, but again, your voice is what's more important for us. So whatever you say, I'm with.
Thank you, Gerald. So just to give some background, does anybody know who the first known black resident in the city of Seattle was?
Gross, right?
Yes, sir.
Bill Gross.
I was close. He's a major pioneer, but Manuel Lopez is the first known resident. And he was from the Cape Verde, which is off the coast of West Africa. So from the very beginning, the black presence in Seattle has been one of the African diaspora. So when we talk about Africatown, Africatown is about maintaining space, specifically the Central District, as a place where the beauty, the brilliance, and the best of the black experience here and the African diaspora can continue to grow and flourish. People mention William Gross. William Gross bought 12 acres of land from Henry Yesler in 1882, which established the Central District as a settling place for black people and people of African descent. As you know, that was over 130 years ago. So for 130 years plus, black people have called this home. And we want, Africatown is about maintaining that into the future for another 130 years so that our children and their children will also be able to be a part of this community in this city. I see many people who have worked in this community, built this community, contributed to this community, grew up in this community, and I know want to see a future in this community and the legacy continue. So just to speak to some of the work that we have been doing and some of the accomplishments or progress that we've made over the last few years, we want to update on some projects that we are directly involved in, and then some of the other projects that are in the neighborhood. You will hear from them and people's activities. So first we'll talk about the Liberty Bank building. Slide. So, and I'll ask Jill from Capitol Hill Housing to come up and join us as well, Jill Fleming. But so Liberty Bank was the first black bank built in this state. It was the second black-owned bank west of the Mississippi. Opened in 1968. My grandfather, Holbrook Lawrence Garrett, was one of the co-founders. And it fell victim to many of the institutional practices that caused black businesses, black institutions to not survive. It was sabotaged because it was supposed to stay in this community, and they wanted to go into other communities where other banks were at. But anyways, it became Key Bank, and when Key Bank left, it was supposed to come back to the community, and we began, my father, Omari Tahir Garrett, saw that opportunity as we need to reclaim our asset into our community and begin to advocate to that effect. And we built a coalition and was able to reach an understanding with Capitol Hill Housing is that this needs to continue the legacy of empowerment, economic access, mobility for the African American community that was being underdeveloped, systematically denied opportunities to grow. So out of that process came a memorandum of understanding to make sure that the benefits and the opportunities that were coming out of that development project, from building it to who's able to be in the space, as far as residents, as far as businesses, was a part of mitigating the displacement of our community from the Central District and making sure that some people that have been displaced have opportunity to come back. So, next slide. You see this image, go back 1 second. So you see this is art by the image, again, is to be a destination to tell the story of our community that's been here. That's Al Doggett's art, on the, you see on the courtyard of the building. And so I'd like to welcome up Jill Fleming, Vice President with Capitol Hill Housing, to talk a little bit more about the partnership that was developed and where we are right now with the project.
All right. Thanks, Joaquin. So in the summer of
2016, 4 partners came together and signed the Memorandum of Understanding, Africa Town, Centerstone, the Black Community Impact Alliance, and Capitol Hill Housing. The MOU commits the partners to work towards a number of outcomes. I'll just highlight a few of them. An important one is to secure long-term African American ownership in the community. The way of this kind of affordable housing works is that you have an investor for 15 years. When that investor's term is up, that 15 years, the nonprofit owner has the opportunity to acquire the building. And in this instance, we're working with our partners so that when that 15 years is up, then Africa Town will be ready to step into that role. So that's one key part of the agreement. We're prioritizing minority and local subcontractors. Walsh Construction is the general contractor. If you've looked at the site recently, you see they're moving a lot of dirt around. And just to let you know, they'll start pouring concrete footings probably next Tuesday. But the partners did extensive outreach. We have 30% women and minority subcontractors on the job. We have 17% African American owned subcontractors on the job. And a great thanks again to the partners and Walsh Construction. The ground floor is, so this side is the 24th Avenue side, the residential entrance, and that corner is on Union Street, and along Union will be retail. And one of the major goals of the project is that space will be affordable and marketed so that we can maintain, preserve CD businesses that might otherwise be priced out of the neighborhood, or for emerging businesses that want to stay and put down roots in the community. The corner space will be some kind of restaurant space. We're working with several different businesses now in negotiations, and hopefully we'll have really great community businesses in those spaces so that this can be a hub. Above the ground floor are 5 floors of affordable housing. It's 115 apartments. Probably a 1-bedroom will go for somewhere between $500 and $1,000 a month. That's quite a bit less than some of the surrounding buildings, and that will be based on different income targets. Another goal of the memorandum is to really affirmatively market those rental units to people who might be forced out of the neighborhood due to rapid development in the neighborhood. And we do have to comply with fair housing laws, but what we can do is just make sure everyone knows the process and how to apply and how it works and how to get into those apartments. And that will be the information will be out in the community during 2018. The rent up will be towards the end of 2018, the last 4 months, with move-in around the first of the year 2019.